right, and we're back. This is episode 134 of the Taproom Podcast, and I'm your host, Mike. Oh man, oh man, oh man, it is Sunday morning, and it's NFL Sunday. But before we jump into that, this episode is with Richie Tevlin and Evan Blum of the BrewDat podcast in Philly. And man, this was a super fun episode, and honestly, shout out to Evan and Richie. Like, what they're doing out there is really cool. I mean, the people that they've had on their show, even having the governor of Pennsylvania on the show, like, how fucking badass is that? But man, we talked about, I feel like so much, and it was kind of like, I love it because it's a podcast thing, but it's also obviously a beer podcast. But then also they're trying to get, other guests on the show as well and stuff like that. But kind of throwing new things in there, and then obviously learning about Richie and Space Cadet beer, like his beer, his brewing company that he has, or that he's working on right now. And it just, everything looks awesome, like the artwork and everything. And I don't want to give too much away, but some of that will be in the post. I couldn't think of the damn word. I was like, what the hell is it? But yeah, no, it was really great hearing their story and kind of how it all came together. And you always appreciate stuff like that when people are just willing to just say, fuck it, I'm going to go after it. And, them going after it together is pretty freaking awesome. So thank you guys again. I'm truly grateful for you guys coming on. I think we even did, we did a Mount Rushmore of breweries and a Mount Rushmore of cheesesteaks. So be ready for that. It was a fun one. Let's see. Like I said, the NFL's back today. My Packers playing against the Lions. I wish I was going to be able to watch. I might be able to watch a part of it, but I'm going to be recording with Teo over at Crowns and Hops, so I'm super stoked about that. Their Sleigh Stout has always been one of my favorites, and I had a few of their beers at LA Beer Fest, bangers, and I wanted to have Teo on for a long time, so I'm super stoked to do that. Really, really looking forward to it. So, yeah. NFL's back. College football still rolling along. There was a couple of one of the upsets of Florida losing to South Florida, which was crazy. I had a 14 parlay going, hit the first two, crushed it. I had the over in the Oregon game, had Illinois -3. They blew them out. And then I had SC -28.5, crushed it. We're cruising. And then Michigan and Oklahoma decides to fucking come in and just derail me. Over under was 44.5. They scored a total of 37. I was like, motherfucker, dude, like 7.5 points. Could have had $400, but it's no big deal. Whatever, right? That's the beauty of gambling, babe. But we're warming up. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. We'll be back at it next week. Let's see. Intro's gonna be on the quicker side. Got to get stuff ready and then head out in a little bit. But t-shirts. If you want to go ahead, if you want to support the show, there's a couple of ways you could do it. If you wanted to buy merch, you can. It is taproompodcast.dashery.com. That's also, the link is also in the bio. I'm on Instagram as well, but it's Taproom Podcast and then .dashery. So it's DASHERY.com. And you have 5 different types of shirts right now. We're going to be adding some more soon. So stay tuned for that. And then also, if you do, I know times are tough. So if you can you can either go to Apple Podcasts or you can go to Spotify or whatever you listen on, and any platform you listen on, you should be able to rate the show. 5-star reviews are always great. And I believe on Apple, you can actually leave a review as well. So always super appreciative of you guys. It's going to be a good one. But yeah, I'm stoked for the NFL's back. Like I said, I'm more of a college football guy, but still, like, it's football on a Sunday. Can't really beat it. So. All right. Well, I'm going to shut up now. I hope you guys enjoy the interview with Evan and Richie. Make sure you guys give them a follow. It's at BrewDat Podcast. So it's BREWEDAT and then podcast. So BrewDat Podcast. Make sure you go check them out. Give them a follow. Listen to their show. They have great stuff. And then follow at Space Cadet Beer on Instagram as well. Like I said, great guys, great conversation, and just looking forward to you guys hearing it. All right. Stay tuned for the outro. All right, guys, we're back in the tap room, and I'm your host, Mike. And I have 2 very special guests on the show today. I have Evan Blum and Richie Tevlin, both from Philly and also from the BrewDat podcast. What's going on, fellas?
How's it going? Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Oh, of course. No, I'm glad we got to do it. I know you guys were traveling recently, right?
Traveling. We're just all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Summer's been pretty busy. Yeah, I was vacation.
You were in Africa, right?
I was in Africa this summer. Crazy. It's amazing. if you ever have a chance to go. But
Okay.
yeah, I was gone for like it was like 2-3 weeks of the summer, so schedules are tough. And then Richie's always back and forth in Mexico, so schedules are tough too. It's
Of
hard to get a
course.
bunch of people that are doing a bunch of stuff together.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, it's always hard, even like when you're trying to like schedule guests and stuff like that, I'm sure. But I do want to get into all that. But before we do, tell me how you guys got started in like on your craft beer journey. Tell me how it all got started for you.
Do you want me to start and then I'll stop when you got into it?
Sure.
All right.
There you go.
I got into craft beer. So I went to Penn State, was a business major. I knew I wanted to get into some sort of small business. I had no idea. I had no interest. I was just going to school trying to get decent grades. I had no idea what direction I wanted my life to go, but I knew I wanted to kind of get in some sort of small business. So in college, we were learning all about craft breweries in business classes, just because during all of the lectures, the professors would talk about them, and I thought it was interesting. I was into beer, mostly Natty Light, but
Okay.
I thought it was interesting. And the more I started reading about it, this was 2011 to 2015, it seemed super intriguing. And I knew that, I was 19 at the time. I knew that if I started now, nobody was going to have a leg up on me because I couldn't even legally start at that point anyway. And I know that's like not a cool way to start. It's not like, I drank my first sip of craft beer and I loved it. That wasn't my journey. But I just decided, I thought I was going to give it the old college try. Here I am. So after I graduated, I went to brewing school, then worked at Flying Dog in Maryland for a couple of years, then bounced back and forth between Victory in Downingtown, Victory Brewing Company, and Philadelphia Brewing Company in the city. And then while I was at Victory, I met Evan. And then last year left Victory to start my own company, Space Cadet Brewing Company. But yeah, I met Evan and his business partner, Cole, like 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know. It feels like it's been a while.
It does feel
Okay.
like it's been a while. I think it's been 3. I think 3. But yeah, my story is a little different. I'm not a professional brewer, very, I guess, new to the beer industry. And that's kind of where I think a lot of our value comes to, is kind of giving stuff a fresh and new perspective. But basically, like, I went to school for supply chain at Temple University, and
Okay.
I worked corporate for Nestle for a handful of years until I started transitioning into the beverage industry a bit more so. I mean, through craft beer, I always enjoyed craft. I mean, in college, I was naturally just kind of going away from some crappy beers to like, and I know this is not craft, but this was my first like, oh, this is a little different. I'm a big fan of Kona Big Wave.
That's
And
great.
when I was like in college, that's when it was really like, it was still niche, right? Like it's everywhere now. It was niche. And then I would start getting those on the weekends, and then I would go into something, you'd go Yards Philly Pale Ale, Victory Golden Monkeys, and that was like the bridge. So by senior year, it was mostly like some of the bigger craft breweries.
Okay.
And then, but basically through all that experience, going through college, finishing up college, and into my corporate job, me and all my buddies just enjoyed going to breweries. Like who doesn't, I guess, And I was really just online kind of looking for a resource that just talked through us to breweries through social media, because I'm 27 at the time. I was probably like 24, and there wasn't anybody like talking to Gen Z. And I'm like, well, why isn't anybody doing that? Like, so we just started going to breweries. We started taking videos. We just started continuously like meeting people, pushing the boundaries, producing content, until I guess kind of now, where it's just, how do we continue to drive or not youth, but Gen Z audiences to tap rooms, etc. And through some of our, I guess, meetings and videos and everything, that's where we met Richie for the first time at Victory.
Okay.
And somebody that really like piloted and like really enjoyed what we were doing, as it was kind of like fresh and unique to the industry. That's kind of where we got talking. And there was one day that he came down to Brooklyn, where I was living at the time. We spent a full like day just going from different Brooklyn tap rooms. What was it? Evil Twin, KCBC.
Okay.
A few other places. And he's like, you guys should start a podcast. And we're
There
like,
it is.
I don't know. I mean, I can't talk shop like that well. And he's like, okay, what if I was the host? I'm like, okay, we could do something.
Yeah,
And then that's kind of how it came together.
I was exploring doing my own thing at that point.
Okay.
And yeah, I'd been 8 or 9 years in the industry on production side at that point. But, I've learned in the last 2 years that a lot of brewing is not just, can you make beer? So I knew I needed to learn some different aspects of beer. And I was starting to get into some marketing. I was starting to learn my, find my voice a little bit. I was going on some podcasts myself, just representing Victory or, just talking about myself and my journey. And then I saw Evan and Cole coming up and they were making great content on Instagram. It was mostly brewery tours on reels on social media and, just some different commentary. And they were super young and hungry. And I was just most of the people that I knew I was up to that point, I was the youngest person I knew that was going full in on craft beer. And that, I mean, I'm 32 now, but it was for most of my journey, I've always been very, very young compared to everybody else in the craft beer industry. And I felt it was two people that I could talk to that were kind of in my same, social circles. And, but doing stuff that was different than other craft beer stuff. So I was this is very interesting to me because it's stuff that I'm trying to learn about, social media, marketing, getting your face out there. And we just kind of, like you said, met. And we were just sitting there talking at, I think it was a 6 point. And I stopped midway through our conversation. It's we're just having a podcast. This is a podcast right now.
Yeah.
We could just record this and people would listen to this. And it took a year and a half after that, maybe, or maybe it was a year, 8 months or something.
Yeah, probably 8 months.
Yeah. And then, so Evan and then Cole, his business partner, he's really creative and he has a great mind of kind of putting things together. And almost like a showrunner. He just understands kind of how things kind of all come together. And
That's awesome.
He knows this guy, Liam, he's a professional videographer. What's his director of videography?
Yes.
And he's amazing. He shoots commercials that are on TV and stuff. And he's
cool,
really talented. And he had, no, it wasn't even studio space. He had access to a conference room and equipment. And we were all right, we got the 4 pieces together. I don't think that we could have done it with any less of what we were trying to do with the podcast. It was the exact people that we needed, the 4 Power Rangers that got together and were we have what we need. And then it took us a couple of months of just brainstorming how we were going to do it, how the podcast was going to structure. It probably in the beginning it looked like we just winged it, but it was there was a lot of thought behind it, and it's definitely changed a little bit since first couple episodes. But yeah, I think we all had a vision, kind of just made it happen.
Isn't it it's crazy how things can evolve like that? Because I mean, I remember, first starting, it was I don't even want to go back and listen to those old ones because I'm always feel like it's going to be so cringy, even though it's probably not bad. I'm sure it's not.
No, they're bad.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to go back and do that. But for you guys, I mean, I think it's it's cool when you finally kind of find your footing within the podcast part of it, and even for the name. How did you guys come up with the name?
So yeah, the BrewDat name is. I don't think anybody's actually asked me this before.
Yeah.
Funny enough. But for the podcast, we're well, we're doing our stuff at BrewDat. BrewDat, we're doing different events and such, media marketing events. So we really like the name. So we kept the name to then add into the podcast. So everything kind of works together. It's a part of BrewDat, having the BrewDat podcast. But the name for BrewDat was, we were in my business partner's just bedroom, just throwing names off the wall, just
okay.
I don't know. We really liked Brew 15 because our area code is 215.
Oh, okay. That would have been cool.
So we were thinking about something like that. And we're oh, if we did that, it would also pigeonhole us at some point if we really wanted to explore other locations. The brand name sounds good, but somebody had the Instagram account. And we're
oh,
no, we're just not going to do an underscore.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it clean. And then BrewDat just kind of naturally made sense because all these places that we're going to visit, it's brewed at Victory, brewed at Dock Street, brewed at Conshohocken.
Okay.
So we're really telling the story about everybody else while we have like while we're capturing the attention for everybody. We want to tell the stories of these other places. So that's kind of where it came up with it. It made sense. We're like, okay, we think this works, but we didn't know it worked until, I don't know, a few months later. We're like, okay, wait, this does feel good. So
yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, and I wanted to ask you too, Richie, like even like working at Victory, was it like, you know, when it came to like you guys booking guests or like, you know, breweries or stuff like, or people from breweries, was that like, was it easy for you guys at first because of like the, obviously the connection that you had, you know, on that side of it? And like even continuing, is it still, you know, do you ever find like issues with it?
It's an ongoing process. We have gotten much better at it.
yeah.
I kind of have like a system about how Evan knows I'm an internet sleuth, but and he is
Okay.
too. It's like we can find people online. Like finding finding out how to contact people is definitely a skill.
Mhm.
Everyone is reachable. Whether that's through somebody else or you just have to kind of guess their email or something like that. But
Yeah.
when we first started off, I think the first 4 episodes I was already at Victory, but it's kind of a conversation we have with some people because sometimes people ask to come on our podcast that are not owners. And, like Victory is an enormous company. That's
Yeah, it's
part of a
massive.
much larger company, like a larger brewing conglomerate that has been part of a larger company. It's really weird and uncomfortable for someone that's just an employee to go on and be talking like truthfully. It's like, you have like an obligation to like say everything to like, promote the company that you're working for.
Of
You don't want
course.
to say, and it's not like we're saying offensive things or we're not saying anything bad. Most of the time we just compliment everybody a lot, but it's not, there could be like conflicts of interest. And the first 4 episodes, either getting guests or like, we would invite this person on, but like I would be thinking like, but is there some situation, like they use a different wholesaler or like we're trying to compete against them? Like, why am I promoting them? But then once I left Victory and it was just like, I'm speaking on my own behalf, it feels like a lot more freeing. But a lot of people we get are just people we know. Like we've cold called kind of some people and like reached out some Hail
Okay.
Marys.
Yeah.
A lot of them are just like we have a pretty big network of people that we know.
Yeah, and now even looking back, so I think we're probably on episode. We just released episode 61.
Yeah, I saw that.
We've gained such a network every week thereafter, every time. So as far as, and this is a beautiful thing about social media and part of the reason trying to educate like a lot of the industry on why and how social media is so powerful, you are in front of all of these next guest audience. And then from there, you're talking about them and learning their stories, and it just kind of rolls down the hill from there. So having somebody on, you're now in a different sphere than you would have been before. So, for example, like somehow we got connected to a few sports people. I think Richie, was you through Enterprise first, if I'm not wrong, but
Oh, wow.
Enterprise Sports is like a local media Philly brand, almost kind of like Philly's little like Barstool.
Okay.
And then from that, like we've been able to get more sort of influencers or sports people in and around the area, to come on the podcast, which overall just kind of boosts the image of craft beer to someone that would not have seen it before. So it's taking it out of the sphere into a whole different like playing field.
Yeah, it's a balance of what we're doing right now. Like we're a craft beer podcast. So we have local people on that, breweries that like, they might only sell like 400 barrels a year. We could have them on, but then we also are trying to have on like people that are like, we had the governor on. We had Kate Scott's the announcer for the Sixers. We had her on.
That's awesome.
We have some more people lined up that are like, not really connected at all to alcohol, kind of. But like we have these people lined up that are, people know who they are. And, some people will, when we first started doing non-beer people would come up to me and be like, yo, what are you doing? I'm trying to listen to about craft beer. But
Yeah.
it's almost like they don't know what they want to hear yet. We're trying to, craft beer sometimes it is a great community, but sometimes it can be so insulated, and people just rely on like, oh, this is happening because it's just craft beer. That's how it works. But like,
Yeah.
you have craft beer got to where it is now by trying to get people that were not involved in craft beer. So we're, like Evan is doing with it BrewDat, where they're like attacking Gen Z and trying to get Gen Z involved in craft beer. We're trying to get people that are either Gen Z or people that are outside of the normal, craft brew industry into craft beer. And just the more and more people we have. So about half the people that we have on are craft beer related people. About a quarter of the people are, and we purposely kind of schedule it like this. A quarter of the people are just straight up brewery owners, brewers, stuff like that,
Okay.
production people. A quarter of the people are probably bar people. A quarter of the people are influencers, like local influencers. And then a quarter of the people are just like kind of like either just interesting people or, just random people. Every conversation has this needle that goes through it that like we weave everything around craft beer. We could be talking about something else, but the conversation always kind of comes back to craft beer.
Yeah.
So it's based on that, but it's definitely not trying to stay just that we're interviewing like brewers about like what the names of the breweries are, or like what IPAs they're making. Like we're trying to be a more inclusive podcast, I guess.
I get that, and I understand it. Like in the fact that you guys are doing that, that's great, because if you have, like, once you've kind of built, you've built your trust with an audience, it doesn't matter who the guest is. They're going to listen because they want to, hear what's going on with, you guys this week, or whatever's going on with that, with that guest. I feel the same way. When I first started, I would have, and I would have it a lot more. I would still do more of these. Like, when I see someone's content online, like your guys' that I really like, that I enjoy, like, oh man, I'd love to talk to those guys. And and you guys are in Philly. When I've talked to, an influencer in Orlando.
Do you feel that people that aren't owners are kind of hard to talk to? We've had some, I'm not going to call anybody out. We've had people on that are like not the top of the company. And sometimes it feels like they're talking about the company. It feels like they're talking as an employee as opposed to just like, coming on and speaking their mind.
Yeah.
And as a business owner now, like, I don't know how I would feel about like my people just like going on a podcast and letting it rip. But as long as they're not saying anything crazy, it's like
Yeah. I've been pretty lucky, I think, for the most part. Not really worrying about that. I've had a couple, even when they were owners, and I say we'll never say any names, but like there's one specific one where I had like an hour and a half's worth of questions and it got blown through in like 30 minutes. I'm like, what happened? But that's also probably on me, because I should have, maybe I could have done more. But I'm always trying to figure out ways to make things better too. So like I'm sure you guys always do.
That's the main thing we talk about whenever we get ready for a podcast. It's why, I love the fact that Evan's there, but it's why Evan from the beginning has always been there. Like we've always, to make the guest feel as comfortable as possible. So one-on-one conversations with somebody that's not used to talking on a podcast or not used to being interviewed is very uncomfortable. And just adding another person on just makes everything so much better. We try to when the guest comes in, we try to talk to them for like 15 minutes, just try to warm them up. Like don't steal any questions or anything. Like don't let them blow through their good stuff. Because a lot of times like guests that are nervous, they'll come in and they'll just like, they've been thinking about saying stuff for like a couple of days and they'll just like say stuff sentence after sentence. Like, I know you want to say this, but just save it for the podcast. But it's mostly just making people feel as comfortable as possible, and then everything goes perfectly from there.
Yeah, it's almost like canned responses that they just like it's on autopilot. Their body goes on autopilot and they just start spewing it all out at once.
Yeah.
My gosh. I can remember my first podcast that I did. I felt that same way. And after countless at this point, like it's just so second nature. So much so.
Yeah. I remember the first beer dinner I did. I was 22 years old at Flying Dog. It was 3 weeks after I started. I didn't know a single thing about craft beer. But I was just like, I went down to Flying Dog to like move out of my hometown, and like they were also the only people that offered me a job. But it was like to get out of my hometown and like, immerse myself in craft beer. So I went down, I immediately started following around salespeople. I immediately started offering to do like beer dinners. And it was a beer dinner in front of like 60, 70 people. And I read a piece, it was like 4 pages that I typed out from fair, and I just read it off to them. And they just stopped listening to me in 30 seconds. They did not care at all. They just wanted to get drunk, and it was so awkward. But if I just would have walked in and just like, kind of like, took it less seriously, honestly, it would have been way better.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel you. I mean, sometimes it's just like, even with your guys' show, it's just a conversation, right? A lot of the time.
Yeah.
And trying to make them feel comfortable and doing what we can to make them, because we want to put out a quality product, but we just want to be able to it's fun when you can talk to someone. Maybe like, I mean, even with us right now, we've never met or anything like that in real life. We've exchanged a couple messages on Instagram, and we're already 20 some minutes in, and it feels like it's been, way less than that. So,
Yeah.
do you guys have any favorite episodes that you guys have done for a particular guest? Like if someone's going to go start listening to the show?
That's a good question.
I have some, and we immediately know, like we get done the podcast and all four of us look at each other. We're like,
mm-hmm.
That was a great episode.
That was good. Or like,
yeah,
yikes. That was a little rough.
Yeah, I got you. How about, what are some guests? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we had Claire Trindle, who is a Pommelier, which is a cider expert. There's only like 20. Is it in the 20s? It might be like 22 in the country. I might be butchering that, but there's a extremely small amount. And she is the first female Pommelier in Philly. I think there's 2 in Philly in general. She taught us about cider. She brought in a lot of cider. It's a great episode.
Okay.
I think my favorite episodes personally is like when I am just there and I'm learning like every second. And that's something I had very little knowledge about prior. And we're just get hand-picked episodes with these experts. And the other one is we had Tom Peters, who is the owner of Monk's Cafe, which was like voted the best beer bar in the US. Maybe, I don't know if it was more than once, but fantastic. The best beer selection.
Okay.
All these Belgian imports that will be hand selected by Tom from like Cantillon, and he basically goes to Belgium 5 times a year to hand pick beer. And he brought in some of just the craziest beers I've ever tasted in my life, and it was just fantastic.
Yeah, it was like these like 30-year-old beers from like, that he brewed with Gene Van Roy from Cantillon. It had like he's so connected that like he had pictures and his name written on the labels of these Cantillon bottles because he's like so connected with them. And he was just like, these beers, I mean, they could have sold for hundreds of dollars, and he was just like popping them like they were nothing. Like it was an awesome experience. And like a lot of times, like we'll get on, and it'll be us asking questions and kind of like trying to drive the interview. He got in there, he's a publican. He's like, you can tell he has spent a lifetime behind the bar entertaining people. He came in and he took control of the podcast, and it was so much fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I bet those Belgians were phenomenal.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the one, but it was, I think to this day, one of the best beers I've ever had. I mean,
dang.
I'll text you it after.
Okay.
It was
no worries.
Rook and...
Yes, Rook and Lear.
Rook and Lear. It was a smoked beer by Brewery de Moulin. It tasted exactly like mole. It was like tobacco and chocolate flavored.
Wow.
But it was like, I think it was like a barrel-aged smoked beer. And I've never tasted a beer like that ever. And it was like 20 years old or something like that. It was insane.
Dang.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, so Monks. Whenever I get out to Philly, I gotta do that.
Yeah, Monks is, it's like every year, like the New York Times or like whoever just does random stuff. If they make a list of the best beer bars in the country, it's always in the top 10. And a lot of times he's always ranked number 1. It's like it started.
Man,
it's like the best. It's by far the best beer bar on the East Coast. It's really, really great.
Love it. And what are some of your guys' favorite styles to drink?
You go first.
Well, my brewery, what I'm making it's all like hop forward beers between like 5.5, and 7%. They're mostly IPAs. Okay. I'm drinking mostly just my beer at this point. I'm I've never drank less beer in my entire life since I opened up a brewery. Like I've been so busy that like it's just I have no time to do anything. So I can convince myself to like go out to bars if they sell my beer,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm drinking mostly mine. But I'm sure it's happening in California, but out here, so like the lagers have taken over in the last couple of years. I think that's kind of
Yeah.
started to slow down in the last couple of months. But lagers really took over for a year and a half, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's going to swing back a little bit towards IPAs a little bit. Like
Okay.
it's hard for breweries to compete with lagers because it's just like a race to the bottom price and everything.
Gotcha.
But I've liked it because I've got to enjoy a lot of great lagers the last couple of years.
Love it. Yeah, there's a plenty out here. I love like the lagers and like even the West Coast Pilsners out here. It's been pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I am more on the lighter side. The less hoppy the beer for me, probably the better. I'm not a fan of overly hoppy beer. I do like really malty beers.
Okay.
So like fest beers and anything like that on that side. October's my favorite time of the year for beer.
There it is.
Light lagers and occasionally a sour saison. Just we have this debate all the time. If you listen to the podcast, flight versus not flight. I love sour beers, but I only can really do a sour beer depending in a flight. So you get a taste of them all, but you can't like I couldn't do a 16-ounce like pounder of a multiple sours. Like
no, I feel for me it's mostly like lagers, West Coast Pilsners, a good West Coast IPA. But I mean I love all styles. Maybe not like the barrel aged stuff as often. But I mean, I might have a little tester if we're doing like a bottle share. That's cool.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Richie, tell us about Space Cadet. So like, how did I know you left Victory to do this, but how's that been going?
It's been going great. It's been a whirlwind. So right now I have some help, some friends and stuff, but it's basically just myself and my fiance.
Okay.
So she's a photographer. But she's in Mexico right now. Like Evan said, I'm going back and forth to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
She lives down there. And it's been a lot. It's been every day is a new day, but it's good. So the idea of the brewery is that I took the idea of pub brewing, where they're making new beers all the time, and it's kind of just like ripping new beers out, and just decided I'm going to treat that at a wholesale level. So I've created kind of this, program where I can just put out new beers all the time. That's not a new thing for craft beer, but I'm taking the idea of small batch brewing and kind of putting all these like little things into it. So like I'm advertising how much beer I am making every single time. I'm like very open about everything. With the podcast, it's like another way to kind of just put myself out there. So I advertise how much beer I'm making, so like places like, I'm not here to shit on other half their amazing brewery, but they advertise like their small brewery like that. They have this image of a small brewery. They make like 40 to 60,000 barrels a year. Like it's not small, I'm actually advertising how much beer I'm making. So it like puts a limit on it, so it's almost like, like how Bitcoin has value to it because there's a limit. So like the beer itself is like a collectible because there's a limited amount of the beer. So we were talking a little bit before about my beer can labels. So the labels all the beers come with an illustration of Space Cadet. So Space Cadet is like the mascot I've created that is like, like a dumb astronaut that's like a space cadet himself. That's like traveling to go to space, but he's not actually going to space because he's a space cadet. He's just like daydreaming it. So all the can art is all like single panel comics of him doing in weird situations, just like the individual cans. It's like fun to look at. And then when you line up all the cans, it creates like, it's not exact, but it's like kind of like a storyboard of him going into space. So the beers themselves are like collectibles, so that it's almost like turned every can into like a Pokemon card. That's like a limited thing of like, there's only this many cans out in existence. So people are going out, they're like wanting to get all the beers. They're like buying a 4-pack, they're drinking 3, holding on to 1. And then the beers themselves are just like the same things. It's like other breweries have been doing, like they make new beers all the time. So I do that, but then I have like 250 accounts all over the city. It's like every month and a half I drop a new beer.
It's awesome, man. So it's fun. Congratulations on that.
It's good. It's, I I'll bite my tongue. But I would hope that other people just kind of let me do my thing, but it's different kind of marketing the way it is. I'm hoping people kind of like let me just try to see if I can do this myself and don't copy me.
Yeah.
But it's fun because it's just different than normal craft beer, and I've created a kind of like a structure where it's not putting pressure on my wholesalers or my retailers or the consumers ultimately that it's difficult to get or things are changing all the time. Like I've created this like easy supply chain that kind of works for everybody.
It's awesome, man. Like I said, congratulations on that. That's cool. I mean, it takes a lot of like, just guts to be able to like, well, just to take the risk. Cause I mean, you had a job like, at Victory, that's a, massive brewery, and to be able to take the risk, or both of you guys for that matter, whether it's with the podcast or with Space Cadet. I mean, kudos to you guys, man.
Yeah. It's having quit his job before me. The journey of an entrepreneur it's crazy. It's, like I always knew I was going to do this. It's way different than what I thought. The whole bootstrapping, starting with nothing, having to grind all day, every day for years, sounds very romantic, but when you're in it, it sucks. But it's,
Yeah.
I don't mean to be negative though. It's like
No,
things
no, no,
are
no.
happening. Like I can see, not that I can see in the future, but I can see where I'm going, and like it's a lot of fun, but it's cool. I don't think that I would ever get essentially like a work for anybody after this. It's if it's not this, like I've learned so much over the last 2 years that it's not just brewing. I could figure out how to do something else that's not craft beer. It's beer is kind of like universal. It doesn't matter where you are, or not beer. Business is universal. It's like you could do it. I could be making widgets. There's a lot of things that translate to everything else, and that's the biggest hurdle. Like I know how to make beer. I know how to talk about beer and sell beer, but learning how just kind of general business stuff, that was a struggle in the beginning. Like I'm picking it up, and that part is now becoming very fun to me. But
Okay.
it's fun. It's cool.
That's great,
Every
man.
day's a different day.
Yeah.
So you never know what tomorrow brings, and it just does feel like it is really romantic because it feels like there's so many different opportunities, but then you get hit by realism all the time too.
Yeah.
So it's the best way to describe it is it's a roller coaster that at some point you hope is just like even rather than ups and downs constantly. But it's just fun. I couldn't imagine doing something, I guess, steady, like a big boy job, for lack of better terms.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's understandable. And like I said, once you become your own boss, you don't want to lose that, right?
No.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys too, just like what have you noticed any trends obviously out in Philly? I know you said like the lagers were kicking around, but is there like a beer trend you like or maybe don't like that's kind of been going on around out there?
Yeah, I hate NA beer. I think it's the stupidest thing ever. There's places like Best Day Brewing and Go Brewing that like those places that are like an athletic that are designed to be non-alcoholic breweries. Those deserve a spot. The local craft brewery that's making NA beer is like you are wasting so much money and time, and it's something that nobody wants to talk about. But like you are advertising that alcohol is bad for you. Like we are alcohol brands. We're selling this idea that, alcohol is like a part of life. And then it's not that you're offering it, that there is this any option, but like, the marketing that people take when they go public with it is just like, a lot of times it's negative to craft, negative to beer. And, the craft brewing industry was never built on get as drunk as possible.
Yeah.
The craft brewing industry has a very healthy relationship with alcohol as part of like a cultural tool, cultural part of everyday life. And I don't like the fact that people in our own industry are kind of, again, it goes back to some people just think that like when you are a craft brewery, you deserve to be able to sell this beer because you're a craft brewery. Like we are still a very young industry. Like we really have
100%.
only been around for like 20 years. Like I don't understand how people are already getting this, thought that like, you can't affect me like because I am a craft brewery. And I just look at some people, I'm like, I don't understand where your head's at. Like this is such a short-term thinking, like even more so than trying to make like a seltzer or, a RTD or something like that and offer that to your customers. It's not about offering NA beer, any options.
Hmm.
It's not about, being inclusive to people that don't drink alcohol. Like some people kind of take it a step further and like are kind of marketing the fact that alcohol is bad for you. And it's like, what are you doing? I like,
Yeah.
I,
No, I mean, I get it. I mean, for me, it's like when, I mean, I don't drink them. Like I mean, I want a solid West Coast. I want that in there. I mean, I understand why some people do it, but I'm just like, for me, I'm like, I don't know. It's just not for me. It's just not something I'm all about.
it's when you start producing food items the alcohol industry is not regulated by the FDA. When you
Hmm.
start making things that don't have that protection of alcohol against microbes that can hurt you, it opens the door to the FDA being allowed to then regulate the brewing industry.
Mm.
The brewing industry would not survive. These local craft brewers would not survive if the FDA was in their place of of production,
Oh, yeah.
all the time. The margins are already super small. Like the fact that you're kind of inviting that into it, it's not a game I want to play.
Yeah, and even like you were saying about like it being such a young industry, there's ebbs and flows. I mean, in every industry, there's ups, there's downs. Like it happens. I mean, there was a boom, back in like, in the early to like, 2010s. But I mean, I know even out here, there's, you'll see like maybe a few breweries close, but then you'll see a couple more open. So I mean, you're still kind of seeing that, and then you're also seeing the really good breweries expand too. So, there's stuff there. I mean, people still love their beer, but I like even like what you're doing, Evan, like trying to get Gen Zers to get into tap rooms because they're just not going. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way that I guess we kind of approach that is, I really do think it's a marketing issue with
Hmm.
just the way that the current industry is designed, and not in a bad way, because the industry is beautiful in that way too.
Hmm.
Like most of the brewery owners are in their 40s through 60s, and they do it because they love it. It's an art, and it's a beautiful art. That's why I fell in love with the industry, is because I loved everybody's unique take on what a brewery is. But when you have just that idea of my beer is the best, or I'm making this beer and people will come for my beer only, it limits
Hmm.
the translation to kind of the next generation. That's to us, it's mostly on social media. I mean, I was just looking at stats this past week. I think Gen Z is on their phones about 7.5 to 9 hours per day, in that
Yeah.
range. And that is what it is at that point too. It's a whole other can of worms. But
Yeah.
if you're not getting in front of them, that's where the big miscommunication is really coming. So for us, it's like, how do you provide all these local locations that have this great message, have this great beer, and have these awesome welcoming tap rooms to talk to the next generation? And we're trying to build that kind of platform that somebody can do that at. So whether it's us putting on different events that drive the taproom traffic, us putting out social media content that promotes all these local places, that's the goal, to ultimately like bring beer into like the next phase of the industry.
I love that. I mean, and that's everything. I mean, I try to do that out here. It just, I mean, I don't put on events, but just trying to just trying to reach people, really, just trying to get them to want to go to the tap room, because I mean, and I feel a lot of it had to do with COVID too, because everybody just wanted to stay home and, get blitzed or whatever, which is nothing wrong with it. But I mean, still, like, I love going to the tap room and being able to sit across from, somebody like you guys and being able to like have a beer and find some commonality there. And, turns out we like a lot of the same shit,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, that is genuinely how it started for me. And that's kind of one of the other unique things, I think, in general, like we bring to the space. Like, I fell in love with the idea of a tap room before I fell in love with the idea of the beers. I
Mm-hmm.
loved seeing the different atmospheres, the different, like, every take. You like I said, every brewery has its own unique personality. Like, why does this brewery do flight paddles this way versus
Mm-hmm.
this one do it this way versus this one doesn't do it at all versus just like the art direction on some of these places. You just really feel the passion each tap room has to offer. And I'm like, why can't I see that online? Like, where is that? And not to the brewery's detriment, but in just where things started versus how they evolved, the owners being in their 40s, their 60s,
Yeah.
social media isn't natural to them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in someone my age literally grew up with it, it's just almost second nature. And that's where it's
Yeah.
like reaching people of where they're at in our generation is like super crucial. And that's where they're at. So that's part of it. And it's just, there's so many good stories and so much like just so much good to show. And I think
Yeah.
there's a way to capture that.
That's great. I mean, and I love even like, you guys, like with your guests on the show, like I love hearing the people's journeys, man. Like, I mean, it's because we always say like, the destination's the same, but the journey to get there is different. And like, so when I can hear that stuff on your guys' show, it's fantastic. So I want to jump into a new segment. It's called the 4-pack.
Yeah.
And the first question, it's all 4 questions. What's the one beer that never leaves your guys' fridge? I'm assuming Space Cadet for Richie.
That's what I do on my beer in the fridge.
Love it. And if it wasn't one of Space Cadet, what would it be?
If I'm not drinking Space Cadet, I just need a beer.
Okay.
And I've been drinking a lot of Tecate lately.
Okay.
So if it's not my beer, it's Tecate.
All righty.
But I
And how
do
about you, Evan?
my
Go ahead.
favorite macro beer is Modelo Negra.
So good.
And I think it's going to the way that Guinness exploded last year. I think
Mhm.
Modelo Negra is about to take off. I think people really
Okay.
like it, and the black dark lagers I think are about to have their day.
I
But,
love black lagers. Yeah, so good.
But yeah, it's Tecate right now.
Nice. And how about you, Evan?
I kind of gave like my go-to away earlier. There's a Kona Big Wave is just
Okay. Yeah.
usually a go-to if I'm at a like just at a bar sometimes too. Like a Guinness on draft is fantastic, always hits.
Okay. Yeah. I
As far as
love a good Guinness. I mean, I feel like some people worry because they're like, oh, it's a black beer, but I mean, dude, it's so light and great. Yeah.
I mean, it was the most confusing beer of all time when I started drinking. I'm like, why is
Mhm.
this not so heavy or like
Yeah.
why like I don't think I've ever described a beer as fluffy, but it almost gives me that vibe for whatever reason.
Well, it's
There it
lighter.
is.
It's lighter than a Bud Light, right? I think it has like a
Mhm.
lower terminal gravity. So lower ABV. I don't know what the ABV is, but
It's
I'm
like
not
4
sure.
something.
yeah.
Yeah. It's really low. I know we've talked about this a little bit, but if you weren't in beer, what else did you guys think would you guys be doing? Besides being obviously great podcasters.
If I wasn't in beer, I don't think I'd be on podcasts.
Yeah.
Probably, but I don't know. I do see I would be an entrepreneur in some capacity in some way.
Okay.
Don't know what, but I think that's just kind of the lifestyle sense of things, and I love the creative aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Something else creative. Maybe a vet though. I don't know. Veterinarian. That was always fun.
There you go. And Richie?
I think I would own a small business somewhere. I mean, I got into craft beer because like I knew I like the idea of like having a small local business. I kind of like just imagining kind of how community can like revolve around a small business.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I would be doing, but probably something in that realm.
No worries. Third question: if you guys, either as BrewDat or as Space Kid or both, if you could collab with any brewery in the world, who would it be, and what style would you make?
When I got into craft beer, really like my favorite brew for like many years was Evil Twin in New York City.
Okay.
And he really influenced me a lot. The way he's very outspoken, Yepe, the way that, his brewery operates, the way his business operates. There's a lot of similarities between my brewery and his as far as, like the structure of it. and I really liked everything that he was other half before other half, in New York, and I was just really into it, and I think it would be a lot of fun. I have some collaborations coming up. They're doing some brews in Mexico though, in the next couple
Cool.
months. That'll be very, very cool. I'm not ready to talk about that yet, but
No worries. That's all good.
but those are going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I think in the U.S., I think the Evil Twin would be a lot. That would be a dream.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. And how about you, Evan?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have. We want to do collaborations at some point in the future, so it's going to be like a big moment. I guess who would I want the first one to be? I mean, I think Space Cadet at some point would be. It would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, it's
You
like
gotta do it. Yeah.
I literally had that thought, like, probably once every other day, and it's just
Yeah,
like
right.
I don't know why I haven't done it. The next beer is coming out. I'm doing with some local things, clubs, businesses, and stuff.
Okay.
Some like Easter eggs on the cans. That'll be out like mid to late September. That'll be fun. But that was kind of my first foray. I'm making some like custom beers for like some different restaurant groups in the city right now. I'm starting to work on, with some labels that like take Space Cadet into their world. But yeah, at some point we're gonna be doing definitely that Space Cadet beer.
Yeah, so Space Cadet would be for sure. And really, to me, like I'd love to collab with the different brands that we like closely align with, and pretty much just like our messaging. So, in the sense of like who's looking towards the next generation, like getting the conversation moving in that direction. And like, there's some places out here that I love working with. So like, I think Well Crafted be a really cool one. Vault Brewing, like Love City at some point. That'd be awesome. Some brands like that. And as far as like styles, also, I guess Space Cadet and a sour probably doesn't make sense for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Some sort of like a sour, some low ABV, like multi-type beer, I guess. And yeah, I don't know, something that I guess fits my palate.
Okay. Love it. And the last question before back is, what's a guilty pleasure you secretly or not so secretly have or love?
In general?
Yeah.
I think I have to. I can't even buy them anymore, but I'm addicted to salt. I'm like a deer. Like I don't mind desserts, but salty snacks is like
Okay.
I can't keep myself away from them. It's like even if I have a roommate, like my roommates, I can't eat spicy things. So my roommates used to get Doritos that were super spicy, so I wouldn't eat them. Like to deter me from them. I used to come back home with like a box of Cheez-Its and just eat the entire thing.
I feel you on that.
Before I went to bed. So now I just don't buy them. So I'm trying to eat healthier now. So it's like,
Okay.
yeah, mostly like meal prep stuff. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about salty snacks that I can't control myself.
Well, they're the best. Yeah. Love it. And how about you, Evan?
I love collectibles. Like I used to be like whatever it was, like it changes all the time, but like I get into it and I get sucked into it. So like Pokemon cards, big thing. When I was growing up, Webkins was a huge thing.
Okay.
Like whatever I could kind of find, like pins, like if there's something enough of one thing that I can kind of get sucked into. I was a big fan of wrestling, so like wrestling figures.
Oh yeah.
I'll end up buying all of them at some point.
Do you have any of like the really old ones, like the little like 3-inch ones, like the Hogan? There was Hogan, there was Macho Man, and a bunch of other ones like that.
No, that was before my time. I forget like when I was big into it. It was like it's the Elite collections.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They're like somewhat newer. It was like 2010s, early 2010s.
Okay.
It was like my big time. And then I would keep everything in the boxes. And I just have, Funko Pops is a big one. I had like 300 of them.
Oh, dang. There you go.
Yeah. And then I sold them all because I'm like, what am I doing with all these? So,
yeah,
that type of stuff.
Yeah, I would collect them too. And eventually I got to the point where I was like, I had too many and I sold a bunch, but the ones I did keep, because I would never get rid of, like I have some wrestling ones, I just display them. Like they're usually around, like those Disney ones. You mentioned Pokemon. I just started, because I collected them as a kid. but then I started collecting the ones like I wanted to get ones where just Pokemon are sleeping on the card, and then I would collect those. So I got my buddy gave me my first one. It's Eevee,
That's
sleeping.
crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I want to get ones where they're just sleeping. That'll be my collection. I'll be happy with that.
See, that's a great little niche collection.
I
Take up a
have so
bunch of
many
time
Pokemon
too.
cards. This is a real story. I was so obsessed with Pokemon. So was my brother. My brother's so obsessed that the teachers and my parents had to have like sit down meeting for him to stop talking about Pokemon.
That intervention?
Yeah, but I thought I was like basically just as addicted. But the first pack that I ever opened up when I was 7 years old, I got a holographic first edition Charizard, and 3 weeks later I put it through the washing machine. And like looking back, I'm like not realizing like the value that would still have is like insane. But it was literally the first pack of Pokemon cards I ever opened up was like the holy grail of Pokemon cards.
Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah.
Dang. Oh man. Yeah. That's brutal. Like while putting that in the wash, see, in retrospect, we don't really, we don't know what that was going to be.
I mean, it didn't have that value back then, but still, like, crazy.
But it's crazy now, like how valuable they are. Like even just to buy like, like an old box of packs, it's like,
oh my God,
like 60 grand or probably more. I don't even know.
So that's the idea of Pokemon cards of like they're consistent and like nothing is changing. People keep asking me and telling me like, can you just make one beer? And like at some point I will have a flagship, but like this line that I'm doing with Space Cadet, where it's like small batch stuff, it's like this is the backbone of the brand. Like I'm never bringing one of these beers back. Like that is the value of the brand. So it's like holding on to these things. It's like the more if you do this, it's like individually you're looking like, yeah, but like if I didn't get the last one, it's fine. But like the more I do, the more valuable the ones behind it get. So that's what I'm trying to create. Like 10 years from now, I'm trying to create my holographic Charizard somewhere.
But in order to do that, you need to print a label that's fully in color, dude. Or at least one pack.
Well, I will. I have some, like I said, I have like the small batch thing with the restaurant thing coming up. But yeah, I'm going to make something special. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually going to put in, because I made some of my stickers. They're like Pokemon style cards, but it says the Taproom Podcast and a bunch of other stuff.
Nice.
I'll set it. I'm going to have some, like, I need to get some more made because I didn't think, I was like, oh, they'll probably be a little popular, but like I would hand them out at things and everybody wants that one. So I'll go ahead and when I make some more, because I'm going to use like the Chrome Hollows. So for that one, so I'll send you guys some once I get them all ready.
Cool.
That'd be sick.
Thank you.
Of course. Wanted to ask about Philly too, because I'm always curious. Anytime like I talk to someone from a different city or different state or anything like that, like what makes their like the craft beer scene unique there to you guys, or like in your guys' opinion?
I think it's just the concentration of breweries. There's large breweries everywhere, but Philly is a very the Philly bar scene. We were talking about before. Like, do you guys care if I talk about how everyone in Philly is angry all the time and like
go for it.
But like Philadelphia is like a blue collar city that's just the fifth biggest city in the country. And our bar scene here, like we don't have clubs here. We don't have, this insane bar life that like places like, New York or Washington DC have. It's most of our bars are like corner bars, and even the big bars downtown are just like larger versions of that. So the Philly beer scene is like, there's a lot of like very small, great breweries. There's just like a really high concentration of great breweries, like all together. And it's places that like, they don't even have great, national recognition. Like even Philadelphia, people in Philadelphia, I think just have a hard time talking positively about themselves, like the sports fans and stuff. And I think that everyone here loves it. Like I love it. I hate it when people like just, I do it, but I like when people talk about like how great their things are. It's like everyone is very humble here, kind of, and it's like there's just a lot of really, really amazing craft breweries that are very under the radar. The food scene here is amazing. Like the restaurant scene in Philadelphia is the same way, where there's just like every spot is a mom and pop corner spot that has like the best food ever, and it's just like I like it because it's my culture, but like we don't do a good job like explaining to the rest of the world like how good things here are. And so we get this bad reputation of being like, you know, drunk evil
Mhm.
fans of being assholes about everything. But like, you know, it's just
Yeah.
because like it's just it's a very self-depreciating community, but it's like we have a sense of humor. It's fun. It's like it's a very blue collar city.
Love it. And Evan, do you feel the same way?
I mean, yeah. If you were putting it a really good way, Richie, it's just like in Philly in general. Lost my train of thought.
That's
But
okay.
like the city is very much like self-deprecating is a word I haven't really thought about before.
Yeah.
But like kinda, but nobody else can talk shit on us.
Have
Like,
you seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
yeah,
That's Philadelphia. It's like they talk about like, you know, like these people are crazy, but like that's that's the people that live
Yeah.
here. It's
Yeah.
it's great comedy because like there's some truth to it, but
Mhm.
it's very funny. But it's just everything here is like under the radar. It's like,
mhm.
you know, there's just great food and beer and people everywhere, and it's just like for some reason it's just like everyone hates us and we just seem like terrible, but everything is much better than what it seems from the outside.
Yeah, if somebody were to come to Philly, they would Philly's much scarier on the outside than it is on the inside.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Like a donut. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
a
like a
jelly
jelly
donut.
donut. Once you get to Philly, you'll really love it. You'll enjoy it. There's so much culture, and everybody is really like everybody's really friendly.
Everyone's
Okay.
nice. They'll just call you a
Yeah,
dickhead.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Wanted
It's
to
good.
Oh, that's great. I mean, because I've always wanted to go. Like, and I was going to mention I always want to go to Philly cheesesteaks. I was actually going to save this question towards the end, but since we're talking about hole in the walls and we're talking about craft beer, what are your Mount Rushmore of breweries and Mount Rushmore of Philly cheesesteaks in Philly? Whoever wants to go first.
I mean, Mount Rushmore for me. I mean, let's just say it. Space Cadet,
There it is.
uh, Victory. If you're talking about like kind of OG breweries, I'm gonna say Yards and Trogs. So that's the four horsemen for me. But as far as cheesesteaks go, cheesesteaks are street food. It's like
Yeah.
we have great cheesesteaks, but it's not like fine dining. Like there's great cheesesteaks
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. So
Okay.
my four cheesesteak places that I eat the most of around me, Del Rossi's has amazing delivery, but it's top notch cheesesteaks. They're very easy to get. They're cheap and they're really quick. Those is like, you know, El Prez came and give them like a 9.2, 9.3 or something for
Mm-hmm.
pizza, and the same thing for cheesesteaks. And it's like line around the block. You only pay with cash. It's amazing. And then in my hometown, like 45 minutes like northwest of the city, we got Collegeville Italian Bakery, and then Moshe's is like a Moshe's train stop is like right by my house. They sell like, you know, 2.5 long cheesesteaks, but buffalo chicken cheesesteak from Moshe's is the best.
Okay. Dang, that sounds bomb. now,
Damn.
now I'm hungry.
All good answers. Mount Rushmore beers will go old school. I gotta say Yards. I feel like Yards is just grown
Okay.
into this amazing, like, Philly just icon of a brewery at this point that's like dedicated to Philly. Like New School killing it, Human Robot in Philly. It's amazing.
Okay.
They just some of the best lagers. Like
Yeah, I
terrible.
don't mean to cut you off. Human Robot was like, Philly has great craft beer. Human Robot was the first brewery in Philadelphia to basically go out like on a national stage and like with Ken and Jake and everybody else basically say like, we're making great beer. You guys need to kind of start accepting that. They've blown up in the last couple of years. They're opening up
Love
all
it.
over the place. They're making amazing lagers, but they were kind of like the, you know, inflection point in Philadelphia craft
Yes.
beer where it went from being like, we have great beer to now like, no, look at us. We have great microbreweries here.
Love it.
Yep. I think I love City because I think it's just more than the beer, it's the atmosphere and it's the environment that they kind of like cultivate and bringing anybody in to want to be in and around beer. So I think they're fantastic. And then New School, Richie, Space Cadet, doing
Let's
something
go.
totally unique.
There it is.
So cheesesteaks, Steve's, Prince of Steaks, classic. Who else? Tony Luke's and Oregon Ave. I always swear by that. They just changed their name to like Tony's and Nick's or something. That's always been my go-to cheesesteak. It is a messy cheesesteak. They have a pickle bar where you can get everything you want. I love that place. I swear by it.
Nice.
Chubby's, which is right next to Delisandro's, which is like the other acclaimed, like one of the acclaimed cheesesteak places. I like Chubby's right next door. And then in college, I used to get this place called Oh Brother all the time. I don't know. I haven't been there in a minute, but that was a great 3 a.m. steak.
People not from Philly try to like make like, I need to make a cheesesteak, but I need to make it good to live up to the Philadelphia name. And then they make like some artisanal fancy bullshit. It's like a cheesesteak is street food.
Yeah.
You use quality ingredients and, you just keep it simple. People try to make it fancy. It's meat, cheese, and bread. And, we have it down to a science here, but it's like people, when we go to like other cities, it's just like you get the Philly cheesesteak and you're like, what is this artisanal sandwich? Like, this is not what I want.
I don't want I don't want the fancy shit. That's all right. Yeah.
One of my biggest pet peeves, I lived in New York for a few years, and just traveling in general. If I see Philly cheesesteak on a menu, it really pisses me off. Like, it better be fantastic, or like get our city's name out of your menu. Like it really is that. And I've had good cheesesteaks other places, but it's nothing like having it in the city. It's a different part of it.
Oh, I bet. And I would want to go to all the places that you guys mentioned. Like, I'll make the occasional Philly cheesesteak, like on my flat top. I'll use shaved ribeye, and I'll use like white American cheese, and sometimes I'll throw in like some jalapenos in it, because I'm not an onion guy, but I do love jalapenos in there just to give it a little kick.
That's where you're wrong. You got to keep it simple. It's the chopstick is like right now it goes by like generations. It's like every like 10 years like the cheesesteak changes. Now it's got like the sesame rolls, and everyone uses Cooper Sharp, and it's like all the new school places are doing that. Some of the old school places are like starting to change to like starting to do that style. But it's like every 10 years, like kind of the style of the cheesesteak changes. But just keep it simple. Use quality ingredients, and it'll be fine.
There it is. Love it. And we talked about a little bit like some other like restaurants and stuff. What are some other like hidden gems you feel like restaurant wise?
Murph's, right? So have you heard of Fishtown before? Fishtown is kind of like it's like the Brooklyn of Philadelphia. It's like the artsy kind of hipster area, but it just kind of like it's kind of a booming neighborhood. And there's lots of good food options here. There's like 50 breweries in like a 2-mile radius. It's insane.
Oh, I love that.
It's around here. There's this like little Irish pub right on Girard, which is like one of the main streets, called Murph's. And it's just like a dive bar, Irish pub. But then they have like some of the best Italian food in the city. Cash only, no reservations. And there's like a line that's like 45-minute wait like every single night. But
Dang.
That's the spot.
Awesome. Is that same for you, Evan? Sorry.
I'm in the burbs. So I go down. I'm in Philly 3 days a week at least.
Okay.
But I don't know. I nothing's popping up. I'm thinking like places I would go for like a birthday dinner or something. Really good sushi place called Double Nut in the city. It's just fantastic. Good beer selection as well. Yeah. That and this place called Sampan, owned by the same place. Great food.
Love it. Awesome. So, it sounds like all places I need to go to when I get out there. So
there's so much. Yeah. Philly is finally getting, like, as Richie was saying, like Michelin Star just had a meeting here as well. James Beard, I think we won 3 James Beard awards last year.
Yeah, we have swept the James Beard Award
for the city.
And
tied for most of any city.
They finally opened up the Michelin Guide is coming to Philly next year.
Awesome.
Or maybe this year. So like they're going to start, getting some restaurants here. Long overdue.
Sweet. I'd love to get out there for a Braves and a Phillies game and probably watch you guys just beat the shit out of us. But, it's always a good time. And I love Bryce Harper. The whole team's awesome.
Yeah, Phils are doing really good right now. That's been nice.
I'm excited. As long as the Mets don't do well, I'm good. Like, as long as the Mets are trash, I'm fine. Sorry to my fans in New York.
Okay.
That's what we were talking about. I was mentioning Bryce Harper. Like, if either like you can, I know I put a historical figure on the thing, but if you could have a beer with any historical figure or maybe with a sports figure, who would it be?
Ben Franklin. That
Okay.
dude, I mean, he did everything. He's like the
Yeah.
Michelangelo of our,
Yeah.
time of America. He created the country, he invented electricity. No, but he found like electricity. He did all these different things that were like so different from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like obsessed with Benjamin Franklin. Also,
Okay.
I've told this to people before, and they're like, "Don't say that publicly. That's crazy." Have you seen National Treasure? Like they stole the Declaration of Independence.
Oh yeah.
Ben Franklin's grave is just like sitting there, like right in the middle of the city. Someone could literally steal Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
It would be like the Mona Lisa. It would be insane. I'm not advocating for somebody to do it, but somebody could literally steal Ben Franklin, and it would be, I don't know. I think about that every single time I pass it, and I just I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, I love National Treasure. By the way, those are both great movies.
Yeah.
All right, how about you, Evan?
I grew up. I'm a few things. I'm a huge basketball fan.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't look great now. Prime Joel Embiid would have Embiid now still sure. If I saw Embiid, that would be amazing. And I know people hate on him too, big time. Certainly understandable in some ways, but I love the guy. Absolutely love the guy. Or Steph Curry. Kind of grew up as my idol. So one of those two guys would be.
We used to see
awesome.
When Embiid was a rookie. Used to go out because I was living in the city at that point. We got to Morgan's Beer. It's like a bar like right on Delaware River, and it was just like everybody was like 5'7", and then it was just like Joel Embiid standing in the middle of the bar. It was so fun.
Oh, it's classic. I mean, I love it because he's always like, I mean, I guess like with him and Triple H would talk sometimes, so like he's always doing the suck at stuff, and like it's great. I've always been a big DX fan, so
I was at that game when Triple H came out.
Okay,
that was a Sixers playoff game.
That's awesome.
We got crushed that game, actually. So it was like, we're so hyped up. It was game one of some series. And came out with Triple H. We're like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. And then we got absolutely destroyed.
Oh, damn.
But it was so sick. So another person on my list would actually be John Cena.
Okay.
If I had to,
yeah. Can't go wrong with John, man. He's like, 17-time world champ. I know, like, as growing up, you're like, it's John Cena, whatever. But, as you get older, you just got to appreciate, like, the grind and everything that he did. So, everything he's done for the industry.
John Cena today is like your parents, like Hulk Hogan. So, like, you have to realize that, like, the people that you hate now because they're too big, it's like those are the people when you're older, you're going to look back.
Well, yeah, those are the ones you respect. It's even like, like Warrior, like, or any of those guys. It's just kind of like, they weren't really my guy. Like, Shawn Michaels was always my guy. Or Hunter. Like, I love Triple H too, but like, like you grow a respect for everybody except for the Mets, obviously. But yeah,
there's a video. Mr. Met fell off the stage pretty recently.
Really?
It was going all around Philly socials.
Just like that. I love that. I would always love it too. Like when I think they were like interviewing the Mets, like fans out, like it was the ESPN, and they're like, "What's your favorite time of year?" He's like, spring through summer. He's all because the fall sucks because we're not in the playoffs. But, they made it the last couple of years. So, man, I just want to tell you, this has been really fun, and I really appreciate you guys. If you guys, just a couple more questions. If you could give advice to someone that was maybe wanting to get into the, the craft beer industry or just wanted to start a podcast, like what kind of advice would you give them?
Just start. Especially for podcasts and content creation, I'm sure you know this. It's like the hardest part is just getting started. It's like building upon itself. It's like every single time we have an episode, every single time we put something out, it's like you're learning, but like you can't get to where you are without trying. It's like everybody sucks at it in the beginning. Like you just have to take the first step. And for brewing the same thing, it's just like, I've been at this 10 years and it feels like I'm just getting started. Like the further you push it off, it's not like it's going to get any closer.
Yeah.
You just have to go out there and actually do it.
Love it.
Yeah. I feel really similar with that as far as just actually doing something. And to me, it was always a point to to do something and start something while I'm young and while I can, while there's like less dependence, and just like do your damnedest, do your best. So do something and like commit to it, like work hard at it, and you'll see if the stones start like falling in the right direction. Like things will tell you, the world will tell you, you'll notice things, and that will be your like somewhat validation, or you're like, oh, this is what I want to do, or this is the direction I wanted to go in.
And to quote Scott Hall, when he said in his Hall of Fame speech, he says, hard work pays off, dreams come true, but bad times don't last, but bad guys do. There it is. If you had to describe the last question, if you guys had to describe yourselves in one word, what would it be?
Determination.
Yeah, I don't know. Different. I always try to, normal life. That's why I wanted to do something different. Like I feel like, if something makes sense to me, I feel like I'm just pushing to do something different than everybody else.
Love it, man. And I want to ask you too about Space Cadet. Or like, do you have merch, or are you going to start selling merch?
Yeah, you can buy it online. We ship in the 48 states. You can also go to, if you're local to Philadelphia, you can go to the best way to find Space Cadet beer. Go to my Instagram, follow me, follow BrewDat Podcast while you're at it, and follow our YouTube. I can't stress enough. It's like all this social media stuff is all just like, it takes no effort to like just follow somebody. We do have like a big following, but nobody will follow us on YouTube. And it's like, I say it every episode, like nobody follows it. And now it's just become like a running joke, but it's just like, I don't understand. But, the best way to find Space Cadet beer is go to my Instagram, go to the link tree, and then find the map. And then that's like an updated list of like where all my accounts are. If you go there, Space Cadet will be there.
Awesome. And because it's weekly. I mean, it was weekly at one point, right, for the show. I mean, are you guys still doing it weekly now?
Yeah, weekly. It used to be every other week, and I think that's changed like a few months, probably like 6 months back or something along those lines. But now it's every week, new guest, new episode, new socials, like everything. So
yeah, we're gonna 2025. We're gonna have a episode every single week, and I think people, part of the podcasting. How often do you put episodes out? You do one every week?
Yeah,
it's like,
every Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody. The way I listen to podcasts and the way a lot of people listen to podcasts is like they listen to it on their commute or when they're working out. And I'm kind of like, people listen to the same podcast at the same. It's part of the routine. Like they kind of like listen to it. So like making sure you're consistent. Yeah. Like when you post it and how you post things, people like that. It's just like, we give them something interesting to talk about every week, but like making sure that we're always there for them. Kind of every Wednesday when it drops. So like that's what we try to do.
Love it. Well, honestly, Richie, Ivan, we'll stay on a chat for a minute after, but thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. This was really fun. I mean, and I love that the fact that, and I mentioned it earlier, that like we've never met before, but we just talked for about an hour and 20 minutes. And that, like, how cool is that about craft beer and the shit that we love? So
100%. Thank you for having us on. It's an easy conversation. It's a lot of fun.
So much so. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, Evan and Richie, thank you guys so much. Like I said, really appreciate it. And even next year, if we're in WBC, if I'm in Philly, gotta jump on the show with you. Have some cheesesteaks, have some beers, and do all that good stuff, man. All right. Yeah. Well, I gotta get going here in a little bit. I had to go record with Teo. Also, next week's episode is the Ann Obenchain. She is the Vice President of Marketing for Great American Bureau for GABF, so I'm super stoked for that. After that, it will be the Steven Torres episode, and then 8-Bit with Liam and Thomas. And then the week after that will be Teo's. So, yep, and then at the end of the month, I know I mentioned before, I'll be in Dallas. I'm going to try to get another brewery out there. And then also, when I'm in Florida, I'm going to try to record with a couple breweries out there if I can, hopefully in Orlando. I'm going to hit Disney World, baby. Twinkle, twinkle. But yeah, hopefully my Packers win today. Hopefully Micah Parsons tears it up. Doesn't get injured, Lord. I don't ask you for much. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, I hope everybody has a great week. If you have a great Sunday, stay cool, have some good craft beer, and don't forget to support local, drink local, and find your beer. Cheers. Oh, wait. Damn it. I forgot. Luis and I recorded some new taproom tales this week. Then this coming up week is going to be the beer draft. Then the week after that is going to be, I think, the Love Island episode that we did. And then also the third one will be The Office. So it should be pretty good. All right, guys. Like I said, sport local, drink local, and find your beer. Cheers.